Yesterday, protesters, as they will likely be called throughout the media, tore down the Silent Sam statue at the University of North Carolina. The statue was put up to honor Confederates that died during the Civil War, as many families have ancestors on both sides that died during the war. And this seemed like a decent way to show respect to those that fought for what they believed in. The Civil War is a complicated issue. Surely, college students would understand that. This isn't as simple as the good guys always win and the side that loses are the incarnation of evil. The idea of having a statue up honoring the fallen was unacceptable to the angry mob that formed around the statue, that decided on everybody's behalf that the statue was actually problematic and needed to be removed. According to an article on the Charlotte Observer, people rushed to the remains, taking photos and stomping on the monument that had been erected in 1913 with donations from the United Daughters of the Confederacy. The statue has been the focus of protests and vandalism for decades, but especially in the past year. UNC had installed surveillance cameras and spent $390,000 on security around the statue last year. Andrew Skinner, 23, who graduated from UNC earlier this year, said he was glad the statue fell in an illegal act. "It shows that we have the power to be on the right side of history," Skinner said. "We are all part of a long tradition of civil rights in this country. We as a country have a lot of change and a lot of healing to do, and we are not going to get there putting racism on a pedestal." Monday's gathering started as a demonstration in support of a UNC graduate student who faces criminal and honor court charges for throwing red ink and blood on the Confederate statue in April. The downtown Franklin Street event quickly morphed into a march to the UNC campus where police officers stood at the monument. Maya Little, the doctoral history student who had doused the statue with ink and her own blood in April, appeared and protesters chanted her name. She took to the mic and spoke of an African-American man, James Lewis Cates, who was stabbed by a white motorcycle gang on the UNC campus in the early 1970s. "It's time to build monuments to honor those who had been murdered by white supremacy," Little said, adding, "It's time to tear down Silent Sam. It's time to tear down UNC's institutional white supremacy." One banner read, "Which side are you on?" Whatever side you're not on, buddy. "Those people are evil," they scream, as they look for any excuse to find something to destroy, as well as assert their moral superiority. For those, presumably college-attending future dropouts, there was no better way to spend a Monday than shaking your head at the long-deceased. Surely, young people have something more productive to do than destroy public property, while police look on in approval. That issue I mentioned earlier involves an animus towards those that came before them. They hold so much contempt that it blinds them from seeing any more of the picture. Their animus is spread out thin over everything related to their predecessors. "The whole past is terrible and we shouldn't glorify these terrible people," they remind us over and over and over again. They scream, "This crumpled statue belongs in a museum," like some sort of soy-based Indiana Jones. Like it or not, the Civil War is an important part of American identity, and that seems to be the reason why they are so intent on forgetting it. The statue is now gone. These protesters will be lionized in the future to continue on their campaign of amending history, and there is no sign that they plan on stopping anytime soon, nor does it appear that anything is going to be slowing them down. It won't be too long before reality itself is edited in real time, and people won't even be able to talk about it on the internet anymore. Soon, even that will be gone. Reset the clocks, everyone. Another person has been Me Too'd. And who would it be this time but one of Weinstein's accusers? Puts that old saying, "What goes around comes around," into perspective a little bit. This is from the People article. Citing documents sent to the newspaper anonymously and verified with 3 people familiar with the case, the report says that in the months after her allegations against Weinstein last October, the 42-year-old Italian actress reached a financial settlement with Jimmy Bennett, who once played Argento's son in 2004's The Heart is Deceitful, Above All Things. Argento also directed and co-wrote the film. Satro, Bennett's lawyer, wrote in the Notice of Intent that Bennett's feelings about the day were brought to the forefront recently when Miss Argento took to the spotlight as one of the many victims of Harvey Weinstein, the Times reports. In April, Argento's attorney lawyer, Carrie Goldberg, reportedly wrote Argento about the agreement and payment plan in an email obtained by the Times describing the money as helping Mr. Bennett. "We hope nothing like this ever happens to you again," Goldberg wrote, according to the Times. "You are a powerful and inspiring creator, and it is a miserable condition of life that you live among the salty, individuals who preyed on both your strengths and weaknesses." After this article came out, people did some digging, as is typical. Argento had apparently sent Bennett dozens of tweets, including this one right here. "Waiting for my long-lost son at Jimmy Bennett in the hotel room. I cry, I sweat, I pace, I tremble. I am alive." Maybe she didn't realize it at the time, but it doesn't really matter. This woman was in a position of power to entice this young man with dreams of a more fulfilling career, and perhaps if he spurned her advances, who knows how his success in the entertainment industry might pan out. Argento did to Bennett what she claims Weinstein did to her. What's most ironic about all of this Me Too stuff is that Weinstein is going to come out looking better than many of the people that spoke out against him. Really gets those thoughts running, eh? Well, that'll be it for this video. A bit of a shorter one. I wanted to keep it rather brief. There isn't much to elaborate on these two topics, but here it is, your moment of clarity.
It doesn't matter what comes, fresh goes better in life, with Mentos fresh and full of life. Nothing gets to you, staying fresh, staying cool, with Mentos fresh and full of life. Fresh goes better, Mentos fresh, fresh goes better with Mentos fresh and full of life.
Mentos, the fresh maker.